In American Indian medicine, one of the most important kinds of medicine is called bear medicine. And the bear medicines, at least one whole group of them, are brown, furry, oily, spicy roots. And the bear in the springtime seeks these roots out to fatten up and the spices to mix the blood and get the blood going because they've been asleep all winter. And the Indian people value the bear medicines particularly highly because the bear is sort of the totem animal of the herbalist and the food preparer, because when they moved to new territory, they'd watch the bear to see what the bear ate and drank, or rather ate, dug up from the wild plants, because the bear was deemed to be the most like the human being, because bears can get up on their hind legs sometimes for a short time, and when they're skinned out, when a bear's hunted and killed and skinned out, it looks very much like a human. In fact, I remember one person saying she wouldn't eat it because it looks so human-like. And so what was good for the bear was good for people, and they'd imitate the bear and what the bear did with the herbs and roots. And the bear has claws, so the bear would rip the barks off the tree and rip and dig up the roots. And the Indians very much like the roots and barks. So there's this group of bear medicines with the brown furry roots. Osha root, which is found in New Mexico up into Colorado, and the name osha means bear in Spanish. So that's an interesting confirmation. And that there's two types of osha in New Mexico. One is osha of the mountains, which is the ligusticum, the wild osha that's such a spicy herb, and the other one is osha of the farm, of the home, which is Angelica, which is another bear medicine. Yeah, for some reason there's a midget one here that didn't keep up. Here it is at peak of the season in July. Looks like firecrackers exploding, so you remember July. Oh, that smells good. The seeds are used, and the root too. Boy, that is nice. Okay. But we're going to dig a couple roots, and, well, just one root. So we don't need more. We got some at home. But then we'll see that this is a bear medicine. So we put down a little tobacco here. Hi, guys. I'd like to pick you, use you for medicine. And would that be okay? Yeah, they're not super, they're kind of apathetic, but it would be okay. So let's see, we're going to dig one, and we'll see how it's a bear medicine, too. Educational purposes. You're going to be on TV here. Well, it's not very big. Well, that's what I call a brown furry root. Only it's not too furry. It's brown. Sweet. Pungent, bitter. See if we can get a bigger one. No wonder that one wasn't very enthused. Problem is we got this fallen tree here, but there we got a big one. Thank you. Yep, much bigger root system there. They like low ground like this. A little bit more shade would be to their liking. This is actually the American species Angelica atropurpurea, which I use interchangeably with the European Angelica, Archangelica. Hi, Mr. Worm. That's all one root. Little new growth coming out there. Horseshoe shaped. That's still a small one, but I don't think we'll throw them away. That's good for transplanting. I don't need any right now. Bobby Lake Thom, in his book, one of his books on American Indian medicine, he refers to Angelica as grizzly bear medicine, and I've heard it called bear medicine around here. Generally, however, the osha is a little more esteemed. And then there's another bear medicine from the northern Rockies, here, which is balsam root. Like, boy oh boy, here's the top coming out of the ground, the three, and it'd be sprouting, and sure enough, it's brown and furry and oily. It's put on the rocks in the sweat lodge. It goes down, has a big fist like a Popeye fist, and goes deep. Well, you see how bear-like that looks, my God. And so does osha root. Looks paw-like. See, this had an additional, a little one that broke off there. So how many brown furry roots are there? Well, there's more than you'd think. So this is spikenard. This is dug by my friend David Milgram, a chiropractor in Flagstaff in Sedona. And he was right outside a bear cave when he dug this, and he was wondering if a bear was there. No, I don't think a bear is there. And I kind of snorted about the time he pulled it out of the ground. I was like, whoa. And this is a member of the ginseng family. Aralia racemosa is the spikenard around here. I'm not sure if it's quite the same in the Rocky Mountains. Might be. There's the top part. And it's spicy, a little bit sweet, oily, not quite as furry, a little bit of fur around the top of it when you pick it at the base of the stalk. And like a lot of ginsengs, it's a tonic, and it's very similar to Siberian ginseng, only it's a little more warming. Siberian ginseng's a little warming too. And Siberian ginseng's really for a bear of a winter, it's Siberian. It's like northern Minnesota, Canada, real cold, harsh winters where you really have to stand up to the climate. It's stressful, and Siberian ginseng was introduced by Russian scientists in the 1960s or 50s as an immune tonic and an adaptogen. The word adaptogen was invented by them. It helps people adapt to stress. It's really a bit of a pituitary tonic. It kind of helps. If the pituitary has kind of a loose screw, it's gotten out of tune. Doesn't send the signals quite sharp enough to the thyroid and the adrenal cortex and the other hormones. Then it sharpens it up. Siberian ginseng sharpens it up so that people can deal with stress better. And so it'll get rid of worry and sweating and adrenaline excess, and warms them up a little bit. It's if the thyroid's been going around a bit. The spikenard, or Aralia racemosa, similar but a little more warming, and perhaps a little bit of a female remedy by comparison. It is used for kind of weak, nervous females. It can be for other people too. It's got some menstrual problems. I can't recall them right off. It's also good for some very acute, irritating allergies. Those are symptoms from homeopathy. They're just as treatable with the root here, and that would be a lot of irritation of the mucous membranes of the sinuses and the into the throat and into the nose. Other members of that group, let's see. Sunflower seed is a very oily plant that's very nutritive, and the root is brown and furry again, but we use the seed. Burdock is really a European plant, not one of the half dozen or so American Indian bear medicines originally, but it came over to this continent. And it has a brown furry seed pod, which is a signature, and then a brown, oily, sweet, oily root. And it is also bear medicine, and the Latin name for it, arctium of the bear, indicates such, so that it has a separate European tradition there too, or Eurasian tradition. American licorice, which is probably same thing pretty much as European, and Chinese licorice, which is an adrenal tonic again. All the bear medicines are really, they're tonics for the adrenal cortex. That's the fat of the kidneys. They build up that fat content. So they're often for thin, they're not for people like me necessarily, who are strong adrenal people. They're for thin people, worn out, who need that adrenal cortex built back up. The Bible calls adrenals the fat of the kidneys. And if you've been living off your adrenaline rushes all the time, and then you're consuming the adrenal cortex as well, because you're not getting enough rest and sleep and stuff, and eating enough, and you're getting thinner, and you're wearing yourself out, and finally you get adrenal exhaustion, and that's what the bear medicines are primarily for, building up. So that you find an element of nervousness and lack of groundedness running through them, and thinness sometimes. Some of them, though, are for thick fat, or for sumptuous people. They get the blood moving. They have that spicy part that gets the blood moving. So they're for stagnant blood. They're kind of for what they call in the South thick blood. It would be thick, wet blood, which would be oily and thick, and get that moving in the spring. And so let's see, we have osha, Angelica, we have Lomatium, or bear medicine, as a common name is called, Lomatium, from the Rocky Mountains out to the western coast. We have the balsam root, which my friend Susan calls balsam fir leaf root. There's fir, because the leaf stands out so much, and then the fur on the top of the plant. That's Balsamariza sagittata, not much used in herbal medicine. Then we have American licorice. We have sunflower, and we have spikenard. So that would be the Indian ones, and then we could add burdock. So those are the ones that I know of.